Hi, hello, good evening, and good day. We have a very exciting guest here. We have the amazing Shania Carter here from Big Brother Canada 11, and we're going to be recapping the entire week. So many things happened, right? A very wild week in the Big Brother Canada house. Avery wins HOH, puts up Elijah and Tola, says that Elijah's her target. Total waste. We played a we played a sponsored veto. Thank you so much to Philip Sonic here for giving that to us. We love a sponsored comp in this house. Tola takes the W. Matt goes up. Matt goes out. So much to get into. All right, so let's do it. How do we get there? Let's chat about it. I am Kyle Petty, and I am joined, as always, by my festy besties, John Dunphy and Gina Regino. And of course, we have Shanayya here, and this is Strat Chat. You can find us on all the socials, including Blue Sky, even though we don't post, at Strat Chat Pod. Okay, so Shanayya, oh my gosh, this is like a year in the making. Welcome. Thank you so much for hanging out. How are we?
I'm good. I've really been enjoying this season. Well, I'm okay.
Yes.
I've really been enjoying this season. I wasn't sure if I was going to watch because honestly, it was feeling like a little overwhelming seeing people like in our house. But I'm glad that I am because I feel like it's actually been a little like more therapeutic for me than traumatizing.
Sure, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And this has been like really, really wild. Like in the beginning, I was like, I don't know if I'm even going to really like this season. We've been very vocal here about not liking when people come back to the game. We don't like returnees playing with newbies, because there's always like a pack that forms around the returnees. And it's just not fun to watch. Like, what were your thoughts of the chain of rejection? Flopper.
Well, first of all, trauma, because
Sure. Yeah.
Yes. I don't want to sit around a table and be openly rejected. No, from my season, and they were like, "This is how the chain of rejection would have went if we did it." And we were all like, "I was like, okay, we don't need
no,
to."
Thank you.
Yikes!
I thought it was cool because they've done the chain of safety twice now. So it was a kind of like cool way to change up that twist. The fact that I went to Spicy is insane to me. Like it's just this is kind of an offside, but like at the start of the game when she had her HOH, it was so messy. I was like, oh man, like this girl is gonna get caught up in her web of lies. But I've kind of flipped my view. Well, I just think it's a testament to how much she actually has the house under her thumb. Yeah. Like it's
right.
But yeah, so anyway, to backtrack, chain of rejection, I liked it. Like the fact that Vivek went home for that, who would have expected it? I thought it was crazy. I was on the edge of my seat, like sweating.
I like it in theory. I just think that it was very predictable that we were going to see Dougie and Spicy at the end of this. Yeah. And it's like, that makes it not fun. Like if you had all newbies, I think that would have been like a little bit less predictable.
100%.
It did not surprise me that Spicy won. It's like, that's not fun to me.
Yeah. Yeah. What did surprise me in terms of the returnees is Kayla saying Dougie's name to reject him. I did not expect her to do that. So I guess Matt was already chosen at that point. So really, who else was there for her? But I think a lot of things this season have kind of been a little bit predictable with the returnees. Like I've obviously met Spicy and Dougie. I think they're awesome, but I totally get what you mean. Like it shifts the game so much. Like the season is about them, and it feels like the rest are kind of a supporting cast. And
Right.
for Spicy and Dougie, but kind of a shame for like the new people that I feel like they're not maybe getting to shine as much as they would have in a season with just all new players.
Right, because that's like, Kyle had mentioned before, like us not being thrilled with like the returnees, and like it's not that we're against returnees altogether. It's just like I would rather see a season of like all stars, or just or even just a more even split maybe of returners and newbies, because like we've been saying, like like you've mentioned, I feel like the cast that we started with of all newbies hasn't really gotten a chance to actually play the game like the way that you guys got to play. I loved BB Can 11. Like your season was awesome, and I feel like on premiere night it felt like we had a really good makings of a cast here that you could do some exciting things. And then it just feels like since Dougie and Spicy V came in, like you said, the rest of the cast, they're just all supporters now, and we're just watching the Dougie and Spicy show.
Yeah,
it feels like.
I almost think it was like set up for that too, like the way that they did it at the start with like Spicy and Dougie coming in on the thrones and like the teams. It was like they put that in motion, because right away, and of course they had safety too, like then right away people aren't thinking about, oh, let's get them out, because they're just trying to figure out how the game works, and then they've now had time to build alliances. So they totally set them up for that too, which is like it's interesting. But I agree, like first of all, I'm just waiting for my call back, which is never happened. Hello, I'm waiting for it. But yeah, if it was like
it can absolutely happen. Excuse us. Was it day 55 that you lasted until?
Yes, yeah, that's true. You're right. I should give myself more credit. But
hell yeah.
Chances season would be rad, because then everyone's got not the same necessarily playing field, but you've all done it before. So yeah, I think it's interesting that they brought just 2 back. But I think it's a testament to what strong players they both are, the fact that they're still there.
I mean, they definitely have everybody wrapped around their fingers. So, I mean,
it's hard too, because it's like, on the one hand, like everybody, like, if it's a season of new players and then just a couple of returnees, you want to kind of attach yourself to the people that know the game well. But then it's also like, let's say it's, a fan favorite coming back. You don't want to be the person that evicted everybody's favorite house guest,
Yeah. Or even Avery, like the fact that she was like, I love Spicy, and then Spicy,
right.
Like that would have been like Daniel C and Ika Wong, like Daniel C, like, loves Ika, and like he would have that would have totally thrown off his whole everything. So yeah, it's interesting. It definitely messes with people.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to see if Avery, like once she gets out of this house and is out of the game, I would love to know if she played the game she intended to play when she first walked in, because I feel like some of those things shift immediately when you see somebody that you've idolized.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I remember that original 12 newbies that came in, and they had said, if there's returners, we're going to stick together, right? We're going to stick together and get them out. Avery,
that lasted all of 40 seconds.
I remember specifically Avery being like, yeah, of course we're going to get them out. And I do remember Shanae, like you said, she did say how much she loved Spicy V. So now that exact person walks in, like,
that's wild. That's wild. Like, is that pact in the room with us? Like, what happened to that pact? Like, I don't know. I mean, I think now they're so deep in the game that it's just like maybe don't see them as returning players anymore. Like, they're part of their alliances. They've developed their own relationships with them. Oh, hi. So, it's really not. Oh my God, I lost my train of thought. You're so cute. So it's really not like. You know what? I can't even remember where I was going with this, but I am shocked that they have not at least put one of them up on the block or have even like murmured it. Although Avery did do that this week.
Avery did this week.
I was like, okay, but the fact that she's
come on, girl.
Home, come on. Like, you can't have. I think what I learned from Big Brother is like, sometimes you feel like you have all the time in the world in there, because time goes by pretty slow. Like there's a lot of downtime. It's pretty boring. Like, you have nothing to do. So people kind of think opportunities are going to come around a lot. But like, the truth is like, I think if I ever got a chance to play again, I would never, ever, ever throw a competition, because you don't get a lot of chances to win. And like, I mean, I'm also just not very good at the comps, but like, anytime you throw away an opportunity to do something is actually, I feel like, a huge detriment because they don't come around a lot. So if you're going to put Anthony on the block and you think he's not going to go home, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Had she actually put him up, he
Yeah.
absolutely would have been gone. And I don't understand. I mean, we'll certainly get there, but I don't understand why we didn't go through with that. Like, that was such an amazing opportunity. And like, that would have totally bolstered her resume. Not
Mhm.
only
Oh,
would have
yeah.
put her in a better position just going forward, just playing the game socially, but like, you get to now claim that. You know,
Yeah.
this man who never touched the block ever, like in his Big Brother career, if you want to call it
True.
that.
Yeah, I didn't even
Like, you know,
think about
you're the person that did it, that finally did it after a season and a half almost now.
Yeah.
Come on, like,
Which
that's
even
huge.
which even just makes, because I think he would have been gone if he was, if he was up there. But just even if he stayed, even just saying that I was the one that finally put him in that chair.
Yeah.
Right. At least I did something that no one else did. What, 20 something other people collectively never did
Yeah.
this. And like,
Yeah.
I did it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I actually forgot that he never touched the block in his season. That's crazy.
Yeah. So there's that. So Avery did win HOH by way of the milkshake competition, which I thought was super cute. Like, I love when they get their outfits. Like, and it's like all themed and everything.
I love it.
Kyle loves a sponsored comp. He loves a theme. He
Yes,
loves,
I
all
love
about it.
themes. We have to get dressed up. I like when the sponsors come in and like everyone else, like, it's just a glorified commercial. I don't care.
Yes, here
I
for
think
it.
the sponsored comps have the most layered and like complicated like rules and expectations. Like, they're so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
There's money. There's usually money, right? A money prize.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
adds a little extra juice,
Sure it does. Extra gusto.
Yeah.
But this one, the HOH competition, was not sponsored, right? What a miss. What a miss. If you had like an old style like diner or something, like, throw their name on there. They may look super cute in their little waiter and waitress outfits, like soda jerks. But you had to push the milkshakes down, the shuffleboard type thing, and like whoever had the highest score after 30 seconds was the winner. Everyone. There's not much more to say about that. And that's when she put up Elijah and Tola. I never understood the thought process behind trying to say that Elijah was the target. Like, I don't understand. How is that beneficial to Avery?
Literally anyone.
And anyone other than Dougie.
And I felt bad for Goose too, because sure, like his HOH week got messy, but I didn't see, unless I'm forgetting something, anything that would cause Avery to now be like, you have to go. You're the biggest, problem with my game. I have to get you out. It's like, Goose?
Why?
Yeah, that really sucked. And especially because like his HOH week was messy, but he essentially had no power. Nothing he actually wanted to happen happened, which is the other issue I have with this executive veto. I don't like a twist that completely takes the HOH's power away. Like, granted, like, oh, you're my target. I also don't subscribe to that. It doesn't matter. You put them up. That's the extent of your involvement.
Yeah, the chips fall where they may.
This is what the HOH wants. I don't care. That doesn't matter. Do what you want. It's your vote, all right? Democracy. Like, the fact that, like, exactly, this is what we believe in. This is our core. If we have nothing else, I have my vote.
Pillar of society.
Like, seriously, it's really the center of it, But to now take that away from him, put somebody else up there that he didn't even want to be up there. At least then, if somebody comes down that you didn't want to go down, at least now you have the say of who goes back up. So now this whole thing happened. You got blood on your hands for absolutely no reason, right? Because like whatever trust was between him and Tola, because it definitely was something kind of like, I think Tola was trying to make something happen, like with some of the conversations he was having with Elijah before he put him up. So like there's something there that he could have actually maybe built on, but now he lost all of that because you basically played in front of him behind his back. like what a waste. Total bust.
And then I felt bad because like, at the end of the day, I feel like he didn't really do anything wrong. Things got messy, but I don't think that he actually did anything to try to hurt anyone in his alliance, really, you know?
Right, right.
And then I felt bad for him because he seems like such a sweet guy.
Nice.
And this whole week, this is what this whole week was for him. Being told he was the target for whatever reason, and
in
and
front
him
of everybody.
in front of everybody. And now he's walking around apologizing the whole week. I'm sorry. I know my HOH got messy. I'm really sorry. I hope we can still work together. It's like he didn't even do anything to you.
Literally nothing.
He shouldn't even be apologizing to you.
Right.
You're targeting him.
And a lot. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, my cat's just scratching my couch. Yeah, no, I feel bad for Goose. He like his HOH kind of cracked me up, just like the way that he was like hosting the ceremonies, and he was just like, "God," he was so
I love that too.
He literally was so extra, and it just because he's a super fan too. So I'm like, live your moment. Like I just said, sometimes you don't get that moment. Like not to skip ahead, but, you know, like Matt going out. I feel for him because he didn't get any wins. So you know. I felt like this, like I didn't get an HOH. You don't get to have certain moments. Not everybody gets those moments. So I was like, yes, live your super fan fantasy, Goose. I'm here for it. So I did feel bad for him. And I also feel like he's writing so hard for the directors, but there's not really anyone writing for him as far as I can see from what's been on the show. So I feel for him, man. He is what the flips crack.
I know.
So good.
I think he actually... I think he gave us a mother flipping this week too. Actually,
him throwing his beanie, and he's like, "Sorry, you don't deserve that." I was like, "Oh my god,
so cute!"
Yeah.
It's just so like much. Everyone's like sweet, innocent inner voice, but he's just like saying it out loud.
Yeah.
And we can't talk about like Elijah's like speeches and things without also mentioning the fact that Todd didn't know he was supposed to go into that scene. I know we said this last week, but it's just so funny. I nominate Todd. Nothing. And Todd's just like, wow, this is a really great ceremony. And Elijah's like, Todd. He's like, yeah, I dig it. And everybody's like, hello. Like,
you have to get up, Todd. I like Todd way more than I thought I was going to.
I love Todd.
Him talking about sucking teats or whatever that was. He's like, it's been a while. Win's a win. I was like, no. I was like, they edited that and put it on national TV.
Yes.
Like, I'm here for it. He cracks me up. He like his pre-season stuff where he was just so monotone. I was like, you know what? I'm here for people like that because they're always the ones that surprise you. Like the quiet ones are always crazy. So
he's so like soft spoken. You never expect what comes out to come out. It's like, what did you just say?
Yeah. I gotta tell you, when I watched his intro video and he was like, I know I'm really monotone, but I swear I'm not that boring. I didn't believe him. I did not believe him. And now I realize I was wrong.
Oh, he's so fun.
It's so funny because I drafted this man and everyone looked at me crazy. I was like, I want Todd. They're like, Todd. And I was like, no, really? I just think he's going to be a hoot and a half. And he has lived up to it. So thanks, Todd.
Well, I know it was the Mankini that really sold you. I know.
I mean, the Toddnator.
That's a great impression, actually.
Multi-talented. So what else do we have? All right, so Elijah and Tola go up. I was trying to recap some of this stuff because so many things happen, then also not much happens like literally at the same time. We saw a couple of conversations where Spicy and Dougie were trying to like reaffirm their final two, but I don't really believe either of them, and I think they both don't believe each other.
It's like, so uncomfy to watch sometimes.
Yes,
it's like everyone sees the writing on the wall. Like there's no way this is gonna work.
And they're getting fun to watch. While I didn't really dig them in the beginning, it's getting fun because like every single time like Spicy says something to him, he's looking at the camera like like this is starting like it is starting to get really good.
Breaking the fourth wall. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love it. It's just so smart to also know where the cameras are to have those little moments. Like so like good on them for understanding what we're looking for. You know, they understand the assignment.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you want to talk about the Spicy and Dougie relationship, like I still think the majority of why Dougie is getting like frustrated with Spicy is just because she's not doing what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you've had your way every single time. Like everything has been to the benefit of your game, really. But the one time like somebody's not agreeing with you, like now like you're like a little miffed. Because you know the cracks really started here because Spicy gave Todd the executive veto.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really when he's like, well, I can't really trust her completely. And it's like, well, you're literally not new to this game. So like, why do you think there's anyone you can trust completely? It's just like you think you're just that damn smart.
Right.
Like, yeah. It's like you just want to watch him get knocked down for that reason.
Right. She had wanted him to use it on Tola, right? And that that moment.
Yeah.
It's funny too, because I feel like we saw that how this wasn't gonna work from the very beginning. Like I remember like one of those very first episodes. Oh, actually, it might have been the HOH that Spicy V and Dougie competed against each other head to head for. Because they had come up with some kind of plan. They were talking, and then like literally the second that they were walking out to the competition, in that moment, not giving Dougie any time to think about it, Spicy V just said, "Throw this to me. 2 guys have to go up." And it was like, and I feel like in that moment, if I'm Dougie, I'm like, all right, I can't
Exactly.
work like this.
Right out of the gate, making errors.
We're not going to come up with a plan and then 10 seconds before we actually play, you say, no, never mind, do this instead. Like, I'm not going to work with you then.
Yeah. Oh God. I think I liked it when what was he saying to her? He was saying like when you hang out with the girls all the time, and she goes, and you hang out with the boys. Like she kind of clocked him, and then he goes, well, when you hang out with the girls and when you hang out with the boys, like
I like that. Yeah.
I was like, yes, girl. Like it's so true. I think there's resentment building up on both in like both parties.
Absolutely,
and like Spicy's like, you know, I'm not gonna, I think she even said it, like, I'm not gonna be controlled. I'm Spicy V. Like, what do you think you're gonna do? Control my game? And he's just getting annoyed that she has a sense of autonomy and isn't gonna like blindly follow them. But yeah, watching her check in, I'm just like, oh, it's so awkward.
Yeah, it is awkward. Yeah, I totally agree with you though. I did like the way she pushed back on him. Like, don't say that I'm the one that's always hanging with the girls, as if you don't have Matt and Tola and whoever all constantly around you doing whatever you need, you know, whatever you want.
Yeah, I think I love that because it's so true. It's like, okay, if you're gonna call me out for hanging out with the girls, well, you're with the rest of the house, which is the boys. So let's call a spade a spade.
Because while they're both, you know, hanging out in their own camps, I do think that Spicy V has had to deal with a lot more pushback from her alliance than Dougie has had from his. Like, she's definitely a lot more under the pressure, I think.
Yeah, and she even was in the episode when Avery, like we talked about, wanted to put Dougie up, and she like swatted that away real quick. So I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I feel like when you have two players like that, like you can have an outside relationship, but ultimately it's going to come to a point where like you're in there and that's your world. And I imagine that maybe not no matter what type of relationship, but like that kind of falls to the wayside when you're now in the middle of this like mental battle. You don't think about that as much anymore. So I'm like ready for them to go head to head.
Yeah.
I'm super ready for that too. There's also, I already lost it. Oh shoot! You know when somebody's saying something you haven't thought, and then immediately like leaves you. But
as soon as it's time to talk, you forget it.
Yes, like oh damn it, like gone just that fast. But yeah, I just think the two of them are interesting because I thought it would come back and it didn't. So well. You know, sometimes if you get it restarted,
I have a question for Shanaya, but I don't know if we're there yet. I want to wait till the time because I just as someone that's been in the house that has experienced this sort of thing. Are we pretty much at the point where the veto gets? We haven't even played the veto comp yet, have we?
No, but I mean,
I don't want to jump too far ahead. I don't want to jump too far ahead.
I mean, no. I mean, if you want to get there, let's get there. You know, Philip Sonicare gave us a fantastic veto competition. We saw who was playing. It was Bailey, Tola, Elijah, Lexus, and Spicy. Somehow, Spicy is always in these. I don't know.
Lexus has been in a lot too. Lexus has been in a lot.
She sure has. She sure has. You had to use this little like pitchforky thing and get a tooth out of the gunk, run it back over the balance beam, use a Philips Sonicare mega-sized toothbrush to give it a good washing, and then bring it back and start stacking. First one to stack 25 wins.
Get this man a sponsorship.
I'm telling you, come on. I love Philips Sonicare and Brita. Those are my two favorite.
No, as soon as I saw that it was specifically Philips Sonicare, I was like, Kyle's like,
oh my God. Did you guys, I don't know if you noticed, but the tooth costume that Dougie wore is the tooth costumes from our Philips comp last year.
No
my God,
way, it's the exact
He
same one.
recycled the tooth costume. I don't know whose costume that he's wearing, but those were 100% what they wore.
I love it. I love it. Sponsored comps are absolutely my favorite. I just think it's so cheesy and it's just so perfectly Big Brother. Like, I wish that we did those in America. Like, honestly, like they're so much fun. So the winner of this also got $5,000, courtesy of who?
Philips Sonicare. I hosted the Philips competition last year, and I was dressed as a giant toothbrush. And I remember having to be like, Philips Sonicare Diamond Clean Toothbrush.
Dream come true.
Oh yeah, it was great.
I wouldn't want to play any veto comps. I would just want to host them.
Yeah.
I actually don't even need to play the game. Just let me come in once a week to host a veto.
Kyle's job is the comp host.
That's what I'm waiting for my call. Like, hello, was I not a good toothbrush? It cracked me up. I was a toothbrush, and Daniel C was a water drop for Brita. And we were both like sweating so much. Like I had to go and blot his forehead as he's like dressed as a water drop. It was awesome. It was like the quintessential Big Brother experience.
Yeah.
I know that those costumes can get hot. I've been a sports mascot, so.
Oh yeah.
She might be familiar. John was Sparky the Dragon.
No, you won't be familiar with that.
Why not? Isn't that a kid's show?
No,
maybe in Canada,
maybe.
But it's the mascot for the New York Islanders.
I'm saying Canadians like hockey. That's what I know.
It's the New York Islanders mascot.
Okay. Ah man, if it's not RuPaul's Drag Race, I don't fucking know about it.
Fair enough. We tried. I had so much faith.
Yeah.
I did also used to get dressed up as a giant baseball for the New York Mets.
Oh, okay. That I know. That's
Mr.
fun.
Met.
Mr.
Yeah. I'm telling you, as a Canadian, you might know the hockey team. You're not going to know the mascot. People know Mr. Met, though. People know Mr. Met.
Yeah.
The word association in Kyle's mind of hockey? Canada.
Oh,
I've got this.
I mean, like, duh. I mean, what other sport is more famous in Canada? I guess.
Well, lacrosse is technically our national sport, but
yeah, lacrosse is big.
Wow.
Right. I don't know.
About curling.
I mean, it happens, but
I actually love curling. I love curling. I actually love curling. So.
Is curling the game with that like black disc on the ice and the
little like
yeah.
I see them on the Olympics. I'm like, you guys are silly. Silly.
I'm like, I don't know how I like it.
I like watching.
I swear, I watch like every minute of the curling in every Olympics whenever it comes back for the winter. Yeah. Love it.
That's commitment. I respect that.
Yeah.
All right. We don't know anything about it. Who's your favorite curler?
Well, I don't know that.
I thought you watch it every time it comes on.
When it comes on every 4 years for the Olympics.
I just purposely fucking with you. This is so fun. 20 Hoosers, Paula wins the veto and takes home the $5,000 from Philips Sonicare. And is that where you want it to be, John? Have we arrived?
What did you say again?
I'm trying to get you to where you wanted us to be.
Where did you end, though? You said
that Tola won the veto.
Tola won.
Okay.
Won. You want more?
Okay.
Or?
Well, no, so I guess this is pretty much where we can start. So we knew that Tola was going to use it on himself, because who's not going to use it on themselves?
Right, of course.
But there was obviously a lot of back and forth then about who goes up as the replacement. And Matt's name was thrown out there, right? And other people's names were thrown out. But I'm just curious, Shanayya, because like obviously we had Avery having a tough time with putting Matt up, right? Spicy V and Bailey really wanted Matt to go up, right? And then Kayla, while she wants Matt out, was very hesitant to like go against the HOH, go against Avery. She's like, this is her HOH. Like, And I know that like when you go into rooms and you have conversations with people, like you're in an alliance with some of them, but some of the alliances are mixed, right? So you have to be careful about what you're saying. And I'm just curious about what your opinion is about the whole thing that happened with Spicy V and Kayla, because Kayla was on board with the plan. They went into the room. Kayla said, I'll do whatever Avery wants. And then a few minutes later, they're all down in the billiard room. And Spicy V is like, what the hell, Kayla? You're so flip-floppy.
Yeah.
And was like really like laying into her for it. And I'm just like, did you ever find yourself in a position like that in the house where like, what's the right thing to say? What do I say in front of Dougie right now? You know, like.
Yeah, that's true. I can't think of like a specific instance for me. It's all kind of like a blur. Like there's so many conversations that it's like hard to remember if that specifically ever happened. But my opinion on that is like, honestly, I kind of get what Spicy was saying. Like, I don't think it's the way that Kayla said it. And I think where Spicy kind of failed there is just the way that she was obviously angry. Like when you're angry, you aren't able to like explain yourself very well, but it was kind of fucked up. Like they're in one room and they're like, yeah, we want Matt. And then now they're all in the HOH room together. And the way that Kayla finished that conversation, because it's so impactful when you finish a conversation and you leave a room, you might not get to have another opportunity to talk with those people in that same way. So like, you got to really think about what you're saying and how you're leaving things. So she left that room saying, okay, well, if you can make sure Matt's not going to put me up, then I don't know exactly like what she said, but what she was implying was that if they can talk to Matt and guarantee that he wouldn't, if he stays, that he won't put up Kayla, then she was implying, to my knowledge, that, okay, he will keep him. So now she's implied all of this, and they've left the conversation. They've closed the book on that conversation. And I can see why Spicy would be like, well, what the fuck? Like, because we just had this whole big talk. And it's not like Dougie isn't aware that the girls wanted Matt to go or wanted to go on the block at that point. So really, who was she trying to save face with? I don't really know. Did Spicy probably need to flip out that bad? Probably not, but like that's kind of why we love her, because she brings the drama. But yeah, I would have been choked too, for sure. Cause like I don't think even Bailey was in the room, or like Goose was in the room at that point. Like I think it was just the hot chocolates. So
I think you might be right.
Sounds
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I think so. Like really, there wasn't anyone that she really needed to like save face in front of. I guess maybe kind of Lexus and Dougie, but that's what Spicy's talking about. Like, don't flip flop in front of them, because now they might think you want Matt to stay, and that's not what you want.
Right. Like she might have been better off trying to stay maybe quiet.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, she was pretty vocal in that meeting, it felt like.
Yeah, I think sometimes the power with Big Brother is like knowing when to not say anything at all, and kind of in life too. It's like knowing when to, you know, when you don't have to necessarily add your opinion to the pot. Like if she wanted to try and save face with Lexus and Dougie, because you never know what's going to happen. Maybe Matt does stay and now she's made herself look bad. It's easier to just kind of like give a whatever. But in that moment, it did kind of look like she was just looking out for herself, and then also saying, okay, well, if you can guarantee Matt's good with me, then I'm good with Matt, which is not at all what she had just said.
Right. Yeah. No, it's very interesting. I'm just glad to get your opinion on it, because like we're watching as the, you know, outsiders that just love the game and watch all different versions of it. But like getting to like, that was something like, once I knew that we were talking to you, because I just watched the episode today. So like once I knew that we were going to be talking to you, I was like, I would love to ask Shanayya about that, because like it was a situation where like I totally agree with everything that you said, but I feel like for me, like I watching it, I was like, I don't really know who's right here, because I get why Kayla maybe did this, you know, what she did, but I also understand why Spicy is pissed, and I'm just like,
yeah,
would love to get someone who's actually played the game and maybe been in a situation somewhat similar. Like, how did they, you know, feel about it watching it now?
I think
season
there
later.
have been like other people in the room. Like I'm just trying to think with my season, like say like Renee and Claudia and I had a conversation, and then like we were in the room, I don't know, with like, well, think back to week 2 with like Rob and Jonathan, and you know, they had said something like totally off what we had just talked about. I wouldn't give a shit, because like I know that's probably a load of BS. I'm sure that happened. Actually, I can think of times when it did happen, when Santina would come into the room and it'd be the 3 of us girls, and you know, we tried to work together, but it just never worked with us and her. So we would kind of like beat around the bush, or like Renee might say something crazy, but I know like there's maybe like a nugget of truth in what she's saying. So then I like that would have been fine. But it was weird to me because there was no one really I felt that she needed to be beat around the bush like that with.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
It is interesting, and I kind of feel for Kayla in certain ways, though, because I feel like she doesn't have like that other person. Like, it doesn't matter how much Spicy and Ducky try to separate themselves. It's very, very clear that there's something like there's kind of an alliance there of some kind. Like, they definitely have each other's backs, even if you're not being seen with each other a lot. Like, I'm sure every time Hot Chocolate is together, there's just an understanding that they're kind of working side by side, or at least together somewhat. Lexus has Matt. You know, Avery also seems to be like a number 2 to Spicy. So, like, where does that leave Kayla?
Yeah.
In the entire alliance. Right. And that's what kind of like made me feel bad for her here, because it's like, you guys are all saying that this is something that's good. This is good for everyone's game, but is it? Because in that regard, I kind of feel like I'm at the bottom of things. And let's just say there was a situation where Matt wins HOH. Like, who does he put up?
Yeah.
Right.
I would have thought Kayla because of the tension between them last week. And I actually will say, to add to that, I think maybe what Kayla was more so trying to do, and like obviously we have no idea, but Avery seems like really sensitive. Like, she seems like an emotional girly, like same. Like when Spicy made a joke about her crying, and like her crying when she put Matt on the blog, like I feel for her. So maybe what Kayla was more so was trying to do was just take the pressure off Avery a little bit and like kind of like throw her a lifeline. Like, that's very likely too, you know, when we see her being like, oh, well, it's her HOH, like I don't want to disrespect it. That could just be a friend to a friend just saying, look, I know you're under pressure right now, and I'm just going to ease up on the gas. And this is the thing with Big Brother, is sometimes when you what's crazy is you have to think literally 24/7 what you're doing and what you're saying, how it's going to impact you with every single person in the room. So yeah, I think maybe she was trying to be a really good friend to Avery, which is awesome. But of course, now to other people, it's frustrated them. So it's like some actions have risks and rewards. So maybe she was just trying to do that too, just like ease up on the pressure that Avery was feeling, because she was obviously, it was an emotional decision for her.
Yeah.
But was it? Like, I find it interesting. I find it really interesting that as a viewer, your take on this, I have lost all faith in Avery in terms of her emotions. After
we've gotten into this a couple of times, yeah.
After what we saw her do that very first,
like, well, this is not new for us.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The way she was like boo-hooing all over the place. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I can turn on the waterworks for anyone." Well, now anytime you cry, I
did forget about that.
Discount it.
I did forget about that.
I don't know, and like I even had a note here, like, you know, Avery and Matt being besties. Oh my gosh,
where did that come from?
Thank you. I
Great
literally
question.
I'm like, new to me. I'm like, is that a digital dilly dally thing?
Yeah,
like I don't know. Like, what is? Say
no. The dilly dallies.
I don't watch.
I don't really watch
them.
No, it's too much for me. I can't commit to that, and it's also like triggering. I don't need to spend. Hours.
Listen, we'll watch real live feeds. We'll actually watch those. There is something about a curated chunk of like stuff that
whatever.
I don't know, it just takes me out of it. Like, it's in the summer, we don't go outside at all, right? We don't go to, we live on Long Island, we don't do the beach, we don't do anything because we're watching the feeds. Like, we have to the camera, we're watching, we are watching.
Yeah.
But when you tell me that like this was like pre-recorded and somebody sat down and chose what I'm looking at, I don't know. It does something.
Like edit part 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then
best friends. What? Also, when they were saying Matt, and we can like get on this later. I feel for Matt. Like, I feel like he maybe, I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this, but like didn't get the best edit. Like, if I was him, I would be kind of disappointed because he didn't have a lot of screen time, one, but two, like we didn't get to see a lot, if any, of his gameplay up until he was on the block, and even then we didn't get to see a ton of it either. Which is a shame, because at the end of the day, like, everyone is in there playing a game. So I'm sure he was out there having some conversations or doing whatever he thought. But like, it's just like, where where did this friendship come from? And since when is Matt? It's just interesting that they were all saying that he's this amazing, loved, great social player, but we haven't really seen that as an audience yet. So I'm like,
it's a bummer too, because like that's so much of what is so good about the live feeds, because we see it here all the time where like somebody who, you know, like I think of like Izzy last season, like it's always like the person that like if you're watching feeds, that person is like the main character of the house, and then you turn on the edit and they're nowhere to be found. But like what's great about like the online community is they'll clip that stuff and you'll still have access to all of those like feed moments after the fact, so that the digital dilly dallies.
I did not realize that as like going into my season, because I watched Big Brother, but it was kind of like sporadically, and then after I applied, I like binged watched a couple seasons to kind of just like get prepared for it. So but I had always been like, and I watched a few of the American seasons, but I never really did like the live feeds or anything. So when I knew that there was going to be no live feeds, I didn't really like clue into that, because I was just like, oh cool, like no one's gonna watch me like pick my nose 24/7. Fucking sweet, like I can pick a wedgie without being 100% certain someone could be watching. They might see it. I did actually wax my nose hairs, and I had someone message me saying it was so funny to watch you wax your nose hairs on the digital dailies. I was like, the fuck? Damn it. I was like right up in the bathroom, like with the wax on it, and I like looked into the camera and it like zoomed me. I was like, okay. Anyway,
that's even more offensive, because that means somebody chose.
I know multiple people.
Like, you know what? I need an extra 3 minutes.
The cameraman and the producers of the I don't know, whoever chose it.
Right. Several people agreed that this was it.
I do agree with that. And I feel like, and not to like, I don't want to blow smoke up my own ass, but I think myself and Daniel C, we were both players like that. We didn't get a lot of screen time, especially until we were like, they didn't have any other choice but to give us screen time. There was nobody else in the fucking house. But I think like if we had live feeds, we would have been players, and who knows, maybe people would have hated me, but I think like I would have got to shine a little bit more. And I kind of feel like Matt maybe is kind of clearly somebody who is like that, because everyone's in there saying, oh, he's the most loved. And I was like, is he? Because all we've seen is him.
That's news to me.
And like, that's not a bad thing. Like, all the power to you, but that's all we've seen of him. So I feel for him in that regard.
Yeah, God, the live feeds would be good for this season. The live feeds, I would have been awesome for your season. I feel like you really got robbed for that. I know, like, I definitely checked out some of the digital dailies. We actually called them the digital dilly dallies. That's how we like to refer to them.
Love it.
But I definitely watched some of those last season. But I think another problem with the dailies now is that a lot of the stuff that I've seen on Twitter, and I don't actually notice because I haven't watched them this season, but part of the reason is because I'm seeing on Twitter is that people are saying, like, why did I spend 2 hours watching that digital daily if it's just going to be the episode? So apparently a lot of what we're seeing is just repeated.
Right. It's none of
maybe,
extras.
Yeah. And like, maybe that's overblown. Like maybe people are just complaining, but like, why do I even want to check that out? If we're getting a curated, produced, segment that we're going to see in the episode anyway, like,
it's too bad. It's too bad. I had no idea what an impact it would have on like me as a house guest, and also just like the show in general. So I will say selfishly, I'm glad they didn't bring them back this season, because I would hate to be the only season that did
Other people need to be equally punished.
I know I'm already having a hard time with the new season being a thing. If they got live feeds back, no. They got a cool intro. Where was our intro? Where was my intro?
Do you like the new song?
Is it new?
Oh, wow. Wow.
I just like,
it's the new
jealous
thing.
that they got to go hang out in a mansion and like wear cool dresses and do like slow-mo flips. Like, I literally recorded my bio in this spot. Like, I was right here, stressed out because I had to record all my own footage. Like, I took time off work. So yeah, a little jealous about that.
Oh man.
I will be the one dissenter to say I actually really love the new little theme song. I think it's such a bop. Like, can that be my ringtone? Like,
I enjoy it.
I'll never answer the phone again. So let's ask this then regarding the Avery and Matt relationship. Like, for all this to be coming out now, when Avery was another person that was always complaining about how often Matt and Lexus were together. And it's like, if this is really your best friend, oh my gosh, we're besties. Like, why are you not rooting for that? Like, why do you like? I don't know. That you should also know as a super fan that if you're going to be talking about all these people always together, they're always together, then like you're going to start. You're painting a target on these people. So like the position that Matt found himself in, it's not that she didn't have a slight hand in it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I just think all that is like very, very strange. There's so many reasons not to trust Avery.
Well, thinking about this now more too, us randomly finding out this week how close Avery and Matt supposedly were. It makes me wonder too, like, it doesn't seem like Avery and Lexus are very close. Like, I almost would expect them to be a little closer if her and Matt are besties.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is. I don't know. I have opinions about Lexus, so I feel like she's probably a hard person to get close to. But yeah.
Well, do tell. Why do you think she'd be difficult?
I mean,
one thing about Kyle, he loves to get granular.
Oh yeah, let's get into it.
Look, I hate judging people based off of their bios, but like Lexus just seems like the type of girl that if I was starting at a job somewhere and Lexus was training me, she would just like, I'd be terrified of her. Like she's pretty. That's such a weird way to think of it, but like
I absolutely get it though.
Yeah, she's very like.
She seems a little cold.
She seems cold, and there's nothing wrong with that, like different strokes, different folks. But I just like the comment she made this week in particular, which I don't know if maybe you want to touch on, but like when she was saying like I don't even like those girls, like I wouldn't hang with them in real life, like I lose brain cells. I'm like, girl, fucking shut up. I don't get down with that. Like she just seems like the type of girl who would rather get in with the guys. And I heard her this week say, I've had problems with girls in the past. Red flag. Anytime a girl says that, like, oh, I just don't get along with girls. Well, what? You think it's every other girl in the universe? Like, I'm like, I don't like talking bad about people. Listen to me go off on this tangent. But no, like, I just think sometimes, like, take a look at yourself. If you're not able to maintain relationships with girls, well, there's a common denominator there. It's not every girl in the universe. And
that's literally the phrase I'm going to use.
It's just she's sitting in the back with Dougie and with Matt, shitting on all the girls. I will stick up for her in a sense, though. The girls haven't really had her back either. Like they've been kind of jumping down her throat with the Matt thing and putting the pressure on her. So I get why she's frustrated. Obviously, in that moment, she was pissed off. But I just I don't know. I have a hard time. I just don't think her and I would really mesh very well. And therefore I have a hard time. I feel like it'd be hard to get close to her. Like Avery, maybe her and Avery aren't really that close. Right.
Yeah, no, totally.
I will also say in Lexus's defense, because as we were saying before, Matt didn't get any screen time, and you could say that's because of the showmans, but we've seen Lexus get at least a little bit more.
Yeah,
and we saw her actually make some game moves too.
Totally.
The fact that in the chain of rejection she didn't choose Matt, she chose one of the girls, right?
Smart.
Yeah, very smart. And then she wanted to use, I forget who the nominees even were now, but I know that she wanted to use the veto in a certain way. And she didn't do that because it's not what the girls wanted. She's actually, I will say that while they are all complaining about how much time she spent with Matt, that, she's not as close with them as everybody else is with each other. She has, I think, tried to make some gestures that hey, let's look, we may not spend all that time together, but I am with you. I'm making the moves you want me to make. So 100%.
I totally agree. When she said Matt, I was like, oh, but I was like, yeah, good for you, girl. As much as sometimes the way that she talks about the other girls rubs me the wrong way, I respect it. I respect what she's doing. It's, it's not what I would do, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just I didn't love when she was shitting on all the other girls being dumb or shitting on their intelligence, but it did crack me up that it panned to them just being dummies and the whatever.
Right. I was like, the editors were like, okay, bet.
I just you know what? Life is
Yes.
too short to try and act cool and like poised all the time. So I have a hard time with people like that. So I think that's my main gripe.
Right. I know for
Mm.
me, if I was on the show in any season, and I went and watched it back later, and I saw all the people that were in the cast with me having fun and being stupid, and
Yeah.
all the footage of me was being, oh, I hate hanging out with those people. They're so
Right.
stupid. I'm gonna lose. I'm like, that's my memory of the show.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, look at all these people having fun over
You're
here.
missing out, man.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So the final vote. So obviously it was now Matt and Elijah. That we already kind of went over this, right? Matt and Elijah were the final two people on the block here. Matt did had three people voting in his favor, you know, and it was Dougie, Tola, and Lexus. Now, do we think that that is now effectively the beginning of the end of hot chocolate? Like, is this over now? Because, you know, Dougie, because we already had like the spicy and Dougie fallout is live in action.
Imminent.
Dougie, exactly. Dougie voted this way. Lexus voted, you know, to have Elijah go out and voted in Matt's favor. So now what? Like, is there a path forward for hot chocolate? Because the directors, I mean, I never even considered that.
And I feel like Elijah's the only one who thinks it's real.
I know.
Poor baby.
It's literally just a fake alliance so they can use Goose however they want.
Yeah.
Like,
and he's always like, I haven't
know,
noticed if he's still doing it, but for a while he was the only one doing the little like, and I was
Oh!
like,
yeah.
Oh, I know, so cute. Wait, that's like my biggest fear. If I ever end up on Big
I'm the
Brother,
one idiot.
like I feel like anytime I go into DR to make any statement, I just want to like, I hope I don't look crazy, and then I'll be like so nervous to be coming here thinking I'm doing something cute, like
Right?
oh my gosh, oh my best. And then find out if I was playing me the whole time.
My god,
Oh
I
my
know.
gosh.
No, that's a legit fear. You know, I think like moving forward, and like Dougie doesn't really have a choice to move forward with anyone but the hot chocolates. Like I don't know. I feel like his game is crumbling a little bit. Like he has no other choice but to rely on Spicy and on Kayla and on Avery and Tola. Because Bailey doesn't want Dougie around. Todd doesn't want Dougie around. Who else is even left? I don't know. I just don't think Dougie has any other choice but to rely on the hot chocolates. And therefore, like, even though they had a divide in their vote, like if anything, maybe he'll rock harder with Lexus and Tola, but I don't think he'll make that an open announced thing. I think they're still gonna stick together, but who knows?
Yeah. This did feel a bit like a line in the sand here.
Yeah.
Dougie and Spicy voting against each other, Spicy with a deciding vote. And like you said, like Dougie's game feels like it's crumbling. Like, yeah, he still has Tola and Lexus, but like if they had kept Matt in and you subtract Goose or something, like Dougie's position in the game is still a lot stronger than what we now have just by removing Matt like that. I feel like really shifted the dynamics of the game. And now Dougie doesn't have as many options now. Like he really has to figure out how he moves forward. And that might be saying, all right, I'm all in hot chocolate, so let's just get rid of Tola. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
like I don't know. It does take another comp thread out.
That'd be so sad. Oh my gosh, poor Tola. He's been such a good soldier. Don't do that.
Well, I mean, I don't.
It's so interesting because I feel like every single person that gets evicted says that like that's their favorite person, the person they want to win to. Like everyone's really high on Tola.
Yeah, I want to see more of Tola too. Like again, like it's just such a shame that we don't get to see more of these people. I really don't feel like we've gotten a lot of. I want some Tola time. Like I'm ready.
Yeah,
I did like. I loved the bit with him and Vivek talking about him like coming to Canada. I was glad that he got that time. But I want more. Like I want more Tola. I
agree. I don't want Tola to go anywhere. I drafted him. He's on my team. So I'd like to see him stick around for a while, but I don't know. I feel like as Dougie's position in the game weakens, so does everybody else that's been riding with him. So I don't know.
I think if we get some of these returnees out, get a Dougie out, get a Spicy out, we're going to get more time for some of
That's
these
what I
other
was gonna say
people,
too.
you
I feel
know?
like so much of the edit is a product of the returners because they are two people that are fan
Yep.
favorites. So of course they're gonna get all the DRs, and then we get so little time to meet everybody else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah. I also want to know more about Todd.
Yes.
I agree. I
Like,
agree.
I think he's hysterical, and based on the conversation that he had with Elijah as they were doing laps in, what do you even call
The
that
backyard.
room? It's just a big room.
The inside-outside backyard.
Inside.
I do not acknowledge that as a backyard. I guess it makes sense because you are outside, but it just doesn't feel like you're
No.
outside. Like when you're
Ours,
looking
I
at
guess
it, but-
ours in our season actually was decorated as a backyard. It was a backyard to the manor, so we called it the backyard.
Right.
Yes, this literally just looks like a room because like there's like gym
Yeah.
equipment in there too, isn't there? There's like, yeah, it just looks like a very large room that's not.
It's where they
Uh-huh.
do all the competitions in that room.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I don't think I
Huh.
realized that that's where they
Yeah.
were.
So
I
it's
don't-
in
Yeah, I
that
don't think I
room where
realized it
all the
either.
competitions take place. So every time they take out all of the stuff in there and then they set up the comps. So it's like in that big space.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
Sure, that makes good sense, especially when they had that tempty
Yes,
competition where like
exactly.
you actually got to see the fruit right
Yeah.
inside,
That's
right?
Yeah.
I guess that
That's why
makes
you always see
sense.
them
I never thought about it that much.
that big door walking
Yeah.
back into the kitchen, right? After every
Yeah.
competition, we always see you guys
Yeah,
walking
yeah,
through
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So
I suppose the majority of the Big Brother US things happen in the backyard
Yeah.
also. Like when you think about
I
it.
think
Well, they-
BP25 they used extra space. I think they were using like sets because
Well,
of the
that-
strike.
yeah.
Well,
The
because
writer's strike.
we had the strike going on. Yeah.
They
They were
did
using
that.
like television sets.
Yeah, like they did that
Mhm.
competition. I didn't watch. I followed along with the American Big Brother just like on social media because I just was not ready to watch a season
Right.
so shortly after
Sure.
mine. But I did follow along, and they like transported them to like a different set for that.
It was like the Desperate Housewives set or something.
Oh, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was like that weird competition where there was like the murderer or something.
Yeah.
It was like,
The demigorgon.
yeah, it was like scary. I was like, that would shoot my pants if I was in that. I was being chased. Like that's not cool. So
That was also like the longest competition of all time.
They go forever.
The episode was like an hour, and that comp was like 45 minutes of the episode.
Without
Yeah.
commercials. Yeah. All right. So what do we think for the week ahead? We know Sunday is supposed to be a special episode, right? Because we got like an instant eviction or a special eviction, whatever we want
I
to
think
call it.
BBAU would call it a snap eviction.
oh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is it what did Alyssa say? She called
think-
it like the movie massacre or like midnight.
Yeah, the movie night massacre.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Have literally no idea
Uh-huh.
what to expect. I hope it's sponsored. But say, what's your big video rental company in Canada? But people don't do that anymore, right? They don't. Nobody rents
Yeah, no.
videos. Sponsored by Redbox.
Well, they did what? They did the Tony bet. They did Phillips. They have skipped the
Mhm.
dishes stuff. They've got a lot of sponsors this year. Maybe it'll be Sunwing. Maybe you'll be
So many.
lucky.
And who's
Sunwing,
that?
I think it's the flight people.
Oh,
They're
Sunwing, yeah.
Cuba vacation. They have the hot tub room, and all their towels actually I noticed are orange Sunwing towels. This is the weird
Mhm.
stuff.
Oh, didn't
I was gonna say, didn't
Sunwing
we
do
have
that
one?
one? They were like on the, they were there on the like the
they
lounge
found-
chairs.
yeah,
They
they
had
found
like
another one,
they
yeah.
laying on
You're
that.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
we're
about like
back.
are there any like horror movies coming out that they're like, oh, check out this movie coming
yeah,
out.
there's
This
movie
comp will be
sponsors.
this comp will be sponsored by this movie coming
That's usually
out.
what
Like,
ours end up being. It's a
Mhm.
movie sponsorship.
Oh, are they doing those in the US ones still? The movie?
yeah,
Yeah.
and it'll be like
Get to watch a movie. I would have killed to watch a movie in there.
Yeah.
Like, I fuck hard with popcorn, and we got no popcorn. So like, if I got a movie and popcorn, I actually thought that we were gonna get one because I'd watched a couple older seasons of Big Brother before, and they got the movies on them. So I was like, "Where's the movie?"
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. Maybe it'll be a double. Like I could see it being a double for sure. It's time for. I think they're
Ooh.
creeping up on that.
okay.
We love a double.
Yeah,
Oh,
PTSD.
yes, we love
Oh yeah. Oh no, yeah. Oh, God.
Sorry, girl.
I
Sorry,
know.
girl.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
But it is fun from
Oh
our
my
scene.
God, you know what? When I got evicted after I did my little interview with Arissa, I can't remember exactly what she said, but it was something she was like, man, I can't believe you're here, but hell does it make for good TV. I'm like holding back tears. I'm like, well, that's I'm like,
I don't want to make good TV.
Oh my god.
What just happened to me?
Yeah. So no, it's been funny. Like when you're in the house, and I do understand why Avery kind of at the beginning of the week was like, I just want an easy week. Like I just want a straightforward week. Because when you're in the house, you just crave a little bit of like, you're just like, oh my God, like I just want to chill for just one day. So I get her kind of like mentality with that. But watching it now, I'm like, get me the drama. Like,
Yeah.
I totally get it. Like, I get why people are like want people to be cutthroat. Like as viewers, they're like, do the big moves, but it's hard in there, man. Sometimes it's just like you just want it to go smoothly, but not.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I get that. I certainly can appreciate that. I still want Ducky up there though.
Oh yeah.
Honestly,
I want him up. I want him out. I don't just want him.
To be honest, like
just go away.
We're talking
Like,
about his game crumbling, but it's possible that after this last week, it might just be over. I mean, because at this point, he doesn't have the numbers anymore. Spicy has voted against him. If I'm Spicy, I'm thinking get him up now, because if we don't, he's going to come after me. But she'll spin it as he's going to come after us because we took out Matt, his number one ally. Blah blah blah. Like, and so I could see like if they win HOH, being like Dougie's got to go now.
Yeah, I wonder. I think Spicy, and we don't see everything, so who knows? But I think she's in denial a little bit about her and Dougie's crumbling relationship. Because, like, even in her DRs, she's mentioned like wanting to go to the end with Dougie like multiple times.
That is
so
true.
for that to be happening in her DRs, like that's one-on-one time or solo time. Sorry, like of course the producers are listening to you, but like no one else is listening to you voice those opinions. So it's interesting to me. Like maybe she's in denial a little bit that their relationship is crumbling. I've always gotten the vibe that she's 100% Dougie. I think that's shifting, but like she rides hard for Dougie, and I haven't felt it as much from him.
Oh, from the moment that they first entered the house, it felt like she was way more hot on this alliance than he was.
Yeah, 100%. And that could just be like their demeanors. He's very like cool, calm, collected, and she's like, woo! So that could be just like demeanor. But even like, I don't think I've seen one DR with Dougie being like, I'm rocking with Spicy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember any. So that.
Right. If anything, the DRs that I remember from him talking about Spicy is like, I know I can't really trust her. I see what she's trying to do. So, but I think you could totally be right. Like because we have all of the information or a lot of the information, like to me, in my brain, it makes sense that like Spicy's got to cut Dougie now. But in her brain, she might be thinking, oh, I can still recover from this. This isn't a big deal. Like, so I might be completely wrong. So yeah, I could totally see that, especially with how messy Spicy has been this season. Who knows? Maybe Dougie gets the next shot and gets Spicy out next for all we know.
Yeah, it's true. Anything could happen. It keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say, I have not been so hot on Spicy this entire season, but this particular week, I thought that she was navigating through things in a very smart manner. And it's like, okay, maybe I'm starting to see a little bit of what other people like. I need to see more before I switch to the other side. But otherwise, I just thought everything she was doing is this absolute chaos. And I was just like, I wouldn't trust you if I was playing this game with you, because like you're blaming not blaming, but you're charging everyone with being flip-floppers, and it's like I don't understand why you think you're not in the same boat. It's like, so maybe be quiet about the flip-floppery of other people if you're going to behave the same way.
Yeah,
you heard it here first.
Yeah, that's good.
I feel like it's just, oh my god, I actually just lost my thought because I started reading this comment over here. What were we talking about just before this? Maybe it'll spark me.
Spicy V's flip-floppery, and how like she's actually playing the game better this week, in my opinion, than she had been weeks prior.
I will say with Spicy, like I don't remember details from her season, but what I do remember when I watched it is like she did not give a fuck about anyone. Like, she did what she wanted. She was crazy. Like, that's why she was such a great character. So it blew me away when I feel like this season there's a lot of super fans. Like, I feel like the majority of the cast was actually mostly people who had either were super fans or had watched a lot of the show. We had a lot of people on our season who had never really even watched Big Brother before. So it blew me away that people trusted her immediately. I was like, like, and who knows, like, what was just smoke and mirrors, but like, if I had been in that house, no fucking chance I would have. And like, even if I went in the house knowing Spicy, like her and we like get along super well, I still wouldn't trust the girl, because as a game player, she's wild. You never know. So it blew me away that people were so just ready to accept her as a you know what I'm trying to say, as a team member or whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
right. And that's we actually talked about in the beginning of the season. This is a discussion that we had about how many super fans or how many people seemed knowledgeable of the game that were in there. And I think that's part of my disappointment with the returners coming in, because I feel like we would have seen a lot more strategy from a lot of this cast, a lot of, you know, decisions being made, like independent moves being made. And it feels like in a season with this many people that know the game, that are super fans, you got to let them play. And I feel like they haven't really been able to do that because they've been playing Spicy and Dougie's game.
Yeah. Rip Dennis. I would have loved to see more of him.
Dennis.
Yeah, I was rooting for him big time.
That was a big loss, a big disappointment.
Yeah, such a bummer. He, like, how rad. He's like 48, 2 veto wins. Like, that's so cool. But yeah, same thing. You know, he's a super fan. It would have been so nice to see more of his gameplay. And who else? Like Avery, Elijah.
Janine was out first. She's a super fan.
Yeah.
Janine, I was really excited about her. Unfortunately, she wasn't on my team, but I was jazzed about her. Oh, that's right. Before we get out of here, let's discuss the fact that John took his first hit this week.
Finally,
that is the one
finally.
Plus. You know, finally, John lost.
I don't understand. Like, I feel like I always somehow end up with the showmance on my team. I don't know why.
You sure do.
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't know why. I just always get the showmance.
Oh man, I don't know. Some of the things that scene of them in the sun when they were like baby talking each other and Spicy was getting so annoyed. I was like, oh my god. I texted Dan from my season. I was like, I'm so glad that wasn't us. I feel like you make me feel like I'm sitting in the sun. I was like, oh no.
So like in that same situation, if you're sitting outside and like Ty and Claudia start doing the same thing, are you getting up and walking away?
Oh god, yeah. I don't think they ever were really like that in front of me. I'm pretty sure I like walked in on them like cuddling a couple times, and it was awkward. It was like so weird. Ty and I had a weird relationship in the house. Like it was always a little bit awkward between us. I don't know why. And yeah, it's just I no.
I love it.
Wait, I do have one other question regarding the girly pops. So obviously, you know, your nickname is Nene. Renee was what? What was
Ray
Renee?
I think we called her Ray.
Ray. What did you call Claudia? Because I just started calling her on the pod as like Claude because like I know
Claude.
And I was like, they can't be right.
It's perfect. It's Ray, Nene, and Claude.
Of course. What else would it be? So when we are just about to go into the house, production, I don't know if I can say this. They call us by our initials. So Claudia is Claudia Campbell. So she had CC on a couple of her items.
Right.
So we started calling her CC, and then we started calling Renee Ray. So it was just we all had like the weirdest nicknames for each other. Zach we called Zay for a while. Yeah, it was you reached that point.
I still prefer Claude. Gotcha. I gotta be honest.
Also,
I will say
we got a lot of mileage.
I will say the Ray Nene when it first started, we got used to it, but when it first started, it was a little confusing because I feel like Renee could technically also be a Nene. So
this is so she actually so my coworkers call me Nene. And some of my friends, my close friends, they hate it. Like, you're so close with people, they refuse to call you a nickname. They're calling me like my full government name, like Shanaea Marie Carter. Like, they're like not
full government name.
So, but my coworkers and like some of my close friends call me that. So I introduced myself that way just because my name's like kind of weird. People mess it up a lot. And then I think Zach started calling Renee Ray, but she actually has a couple people in her life that call her Nene as well. So yeah, it was like very confusing. And then the problem was that people in the house literally didn't know my actual name for like 2 weeks because they were playing it safe and calling me Nene, but they were convinced it was actually Shanaya. So yeah, it was
Shanaya.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
Long live Claude.
So that's like Santa's elf or something, like Claude.
Yes. I was like, I know it's not right, but I don't care.
No,
that is now her name.
Yeah.
Yes. That's it. We've decided. So is there anything else for what is this, week 6 in the BB Can house? I think we covered it all.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think we did. I'm just excited to see what this movie night massacre is going to be.
Me too.
Yeah, I guess that's it, right? That's what I'm most looking forward to.
I feel like we're at the point in the game where they have to start spreading the screen time out a little bit more. So I'm hoping we get to see some more of the people that we haven't got to see yet, because it's such a shame. Like my heart like goes out to them, because I know people online are gonna say, oh, like they weren't a player or they didn't do this, but like everyone's in there playing. It's just like you're given what you're given by production, and especially at the start, if you're not like creating drama, you don't necessarily get screen time. But just because you're not creating drama doesn't mean you're not playing the game. So
right.
I truly hope, like, for us and for them, that we get to see a little bit more, because it's such a shame to like go through all of that and go through all the whatnot afterwards to not at least have a little moment for yourself, So I hope that for them.
Because it's so true too, because I feel like in a season where there are no returnees, you're still probably feeling that, like, am I getting enough screen time? Are people seeing my moves? And in a season where Spicy V and Dougie are commanding so much of the camera time, it's like unless you're in the right room at the right time for the right conversations, and maybe it's strategic, maybe for your game that we're not seeing as an audience, you chose not to go in that room because it was better for your game. You might have even talked to people about it. Like, I'm not going to come in there, but because you weren't in there, you were in the episode for 2 minutes this week.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Well, listen, I can't thank you enough for hanging out.
This is so fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for taking some time out for this. Thank you to the over 300 people
so
watching.
fun.
Thanks for hanging out with us too. Yeah, so great. The next time you're off on a Thursday, doors always open.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this worked out. I
Absolutely.
normally work Thursday, so I'm so stoked.
This worked out amazingly. It was just like, it was super late, like last week, and I was just like, you know what?
I love it. And you know what? It's been good for me. Like I said at the start, it's kind of like therapeutic to. It helps me make my experience more of a game, because it was my life, like it was and it was a dream. So not only was it like a dream come true, and I'm also just so critical of myself, but it was also my life for like 3 to 4 months, and all the prep and all the after and the game itself. So this has been nice to like help me just compartmentalize it and be like, okay, some people might not have said great things about me, but they were talking about me as a player, not as a human being. So you guys are just helping me, solve my trauma. So.
Yeah. Good, and I can tell you, we all loved watching you. We all follow you on social media. We follow along with you. And like tonight, actually getting to sit down and like talk to you about this, and like, it's awesome to hear your experience, but also hear your opinions on the show we're watching now. And it's just like, it's
So
such a
cool.
cool thing. And I'm just so thankful for you, taking the time and hanging with us. So
I loved it. Thank you guys for having me. I feel special.
I mean, you were my preseason
Oh,
winner
that's
pick your
cool.
season, so I'm having a grand old time.
Was it the poop emoji costume that sold you?
No, I think she picked you before any of that even happened, because we usually do our picks like pre-season.
It was like your
We
little
watch-
like intro package was all I had.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, I'm honored. Sorry I let you down. My bad.
You didn't
didn't
let
let us
anybody
down.
no, you
down.
definitely didn't let
No.
anybody down. Definitely didn't let anybody down. No, you had such like
Definitely
I
not.
remember I still remember you had like the most down to earth intro video that I like can remember from like anyone in Big Brother. You were just so
feel
like
like
relatable right away.
Hi, kitten. No, I feel like I remember you walking around being like, I don't know, I'm probably gonna be walking around the house like burping a lot, and I was like, I like her.
Okay, so funny story. I burp a lot. Like I don't know if
Same
I
girl.
guess, like, I don't know what's up.
Burped on stream the other
I saw,
night.
I saw
Oh,
that.
you saw? Oh, I saw you like that actually. I saw you like that.
I was like, that's hilarious. No, so I went to the Barbie movie in Toronto last summer with Dan, JM, Claude, and Hope. So anyway, I feel like when we're all in a group together, people tend to recognize us a little bit more. And this guy stops us and he goes, "Oh my God, I was a assistant or intern producer on the show. Like I watched you guys for months." And he's like, "I made a burping compilation of you, but it never made it on the show. They didn't approve it." And I was like,
That's devastating.
You should at least be able to like have that footage.
I know. I was like, "Send me the footage.
Right.
Send me the footage. I'm ready
Yeah.
for it." So I thought
No,
that was freaking hilarious.
I say all the time, I can't be on Big Brother because that is exactly like I would go onto YouTube and be like, oh, what are my best moments? It'd be like all the times Gina burped like a
Burps.
gross
Yeah.
human.
I know.
Great,
Honestly,
thanks.
I was like, if that's my claim to fame, I'll take it. I couldn't fucking pull out an HOH win, but if I can rip some burps, I'll
Hell
like.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why.
Still a champion in your own right.
I don't know why I'm going to tell the story to end this off, but we're like week 1, week 2, and JM has just been put on the block, or he was just about to go on the block. I don't remember. I haven't known these people for that long. JM and Claudia are walking up the stairs, and like I walked down and I was like, guys, like I gotta tell you something. And they're obviously thinking I have like some juicy gossip or like, I've been doing something worthwhile. And I just like ripped the biggest fart on them, and they were like, what the fuck? I thought it was so funny.
Incredible.
I still think it's awesome. And then the Pam was like, ew. This poor guy. And then he goes on the block. Like this poor man is worried about going on the block. And I'm just like,
This is your exit.
I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, why am
I love it.
I literally,
That's incredible.
I actually love you more now. No,
Ooh, amazing.
Yeah, so
We were here and now
I
we're here.
probably didn't make it in the show for the first half of the season because
Oh my God, this is crazy,
it's like,
girl.
I'm picturing a production being like, oh wow, Shanae is having a really great conversation. Let's make sure we get this. And then you just stop in the middle to like burp, and they're like, well, now we can't use it.
Damn it.
yeah. Oh God.
No, I love it. I love it so much. I love it.
And the fact that it wasn't even denied. Like, yeah,
Like,
that's
you're
actually maybe that is
Oh
fine.
God, I love it so much. I love it so
See, that's
much.
why I knew you were my girl.
Hey, listen, clearly it didn't hurt you that
so
much because
hysterical.
you made it far. So
Yeah, right? It's
Yeah.
endearing. People
Sure
love
did.
it.
yeah. It's relatable. It's relatable, honestly. So
Everybody poops.
It's
Everybody
real.
does it.
It's very real.
yeah. So
So we did. What a way to
Yeah,
go.
on that note.
On that note, this is Strat Chat. You can find us on all the socials at Strat Chat Pod. What are we doing? Monday at 9, Survivor 46. Do you watch Survivor? Do you give two flips?
Good callback.
oh, flipping.
Smart.
I love it.
I
That's great.
don't. I used to when I was a kid when we didn't have anything but Global, our news channel here. But I think I want to because I think now from like a Big Brother perspective, I think I'd get back into it. So I don't, but I think I'm going to start next year.
Okay. All right. So I was going to say, like, we're not that far in. What is it, like 4 or 5
Oh.
episodes? I mean,
Yeah.
if you're not super
Maybe I'll
busy,
watch it
catch up and get into
tonight.
it. Yeah.
I have
And you can hang out with us on a
I have
Monday.
one more.
Do you work Mondays?
during the day, so I would be good.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
I have one other question. Just one other question. That's it. Do you watch the Traders, or have you watched the Traders, and would you ever play that game?
I would love to play Traders. I would be so bad at it though. I'm such a bad player. I'm not even gonna. I probably actually no. If anyone's watching, I'd be good at it. But I watched the US one, the most recent one. Obsessed. I'm such a reality TV fan, so I'm watching the first one now. Like Brandy, like Real Housewives of Phaedra on this season. I was like, what? It's like I love the challenge. The challenge in the real world is
what you do.
Reality
challenge. We love the challenge.
So like Johnny Bananas and CT and Trishelle, I was like, like my dream would to be on the challenge. Like that's my dream. When I was actually auditioning for Big Brother, I got a Facebook memory and it was from like 2009 and it was like, I can't wait to be on the Real World. I was like, it was my dream to be on the Real World as like a 12-year-old.
All right, well, but that's it. That does it then. That does it.
So
get
I would
Shanaya on all of the reality TV shows right now.
I would love to be on Traders, but I think I'd be a really bad trader because we actually played a version of Traders in the house when we had nothing to do to pass the time. So we called it werewolf, or we called it mafia. I can't quite remember. And so like I wasn't even picked as the murderer, and people kept thinking it was me because I was so weird. And like, I was so weird. And we like, so what we did is we made up little stories. So they'd be like, you're the, like, we did it medieval style. I don't know why. And they're like, you're the baker and you're this, you're that. So I was like the baker's wife, and I was weird as fuck because I'm so bad at denying that I'm guilty, even though I wasn't guilty. So I think I'd be horrible at it, but I would love to do it.
Amazing.
That is totally fair. Are you watching All Stars 4?
No, I'm like confused. Last year, because of I was on the show, I kind of like lost touch with the challenge, and now there's so many spin-offs. I'm like confused as to what one I need to be watching. So now I'm just like, it's like when you have work to do and you put it off for a long time and you don't want to do it. I feel like it's built up too much. So I gotta sort my shit out. But I do like, it's a lot of new people too, like Nerys from, like, I love like Geordie Shore, and she was on Geordie Shore. Like, I'm all about that. So I'm like, Love Island, Olivia's on it now too. Like my worlds are colliding. So I need to get
hey, if you want, we can definitely offline give you suggestions for the seasons to avoid, because there's been so many challenge seasons lately that are like not worth watching, but there are some that are pretty good. So like if you want, we can definitely send you the challenges to watch.
Because I do want to do my homework, but if I can avoid the BS, that'd be great.
Yeah, this new All Star season is going to be a lot of fun. Everybody, I mean, Laurel's back. Cara Maria is finally back.
Yeah.
On the same season, I've got Laurel and Nicole together. That
it just started this week too. Like there's 2 episodes.
Okay.
Leroy and Cam are back.
Yes, I saw that, and she just had her second kid.
Yeah, she just had her second kid, but this was filmed like a while ago, so this was after their first kid. Yeah, but even still, I love them.
Mess with them, and I know Shanaye, is she coming back?
She's not on this season. She was on 2 of the All Stars though.
She was on Real World Cancun, and like when I tell you, when I saw Shanaye on my screen as a 12-year-old girl, my whole world like exploded. And LMFAO came on that season, and she was in the LMFAO music video, and I wanted to get a zebra print flower tattoo with dermal piercings in it because she had one. That was my goal at 12 years old. So when I saw her come back and win on whatever season that was, I didn't watch it, but I saw on her Instagram, I was like, I was so emotional because she was paired with Zach, whom I don't like.
Zach was awful to her. Awful to her.
He was awful to her. So I was stoked to see her come back and win. Which is this is totally offside, but this is like I'm obsessed.
No, we love this.
Really, we just chatted the challenge right before this. So
tonight at 8.
Love it. Yeah, I'll have to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you can come and talk to us about that show too.
just never stop talking to us. Just keep chatting. But thank you again. We're gonna play a little credits thing. Don't leave right away. Like we'll have proper goodbyes. Like give us another 5 minutes.
Love it.
But yeah, that's it. So the people who hung out, we got even more people watching, even when we went off in that tangent. Okay, so like Love it. Love it. Thank you all for hanging. We're out of here.